German Sixth Army surrenders after the Battle of Stalingrad, in a major turning point in Europe during World War II. In the Battle of Stalingrad, the 23rd of August 1942 to the 2nd of February 1943, Germany and its allies fought the Soviet Union for control of the city of Stalingrad, now Volgograd, in southern Russia. The battle was marked by fierce close-quarters combat and direct assaults on civilians in air raids. The Battle of Stalingrad was the deadliest battle to take place during the Second World War, and was one of the bloodiest battles in the history of warfare, with an estimated 2 million total casualties. The battle marked a turning point in the war as it forced the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, German High Command, to withdraw considerable military forces from other theaters of war to replace their losses on the Eastern Front. The victory at Stalingrad energized the Red Army and shifted the balance of power in the favor of the Soviets. The strategic importance of Stalingrad is difficult to overstate. Stalingrad was home to a major industrial and transport hub on the Volga River. More importantly, whoever controlled Stalingrad would have access to the oil fields of the Caucasus. Germany, operating on dwindling fuel supplies, quickly realized this, and Hitler promptly approved the invasion of Stalingrad. On August 4, the Germans launched an offensive by using the Sixth Army and elements of the 4th Panzer Army. The attack was supported by intense Luftwaffe bombing that reduced much of the city to rubble. The battle degenerated into house-to-house fighting as both sides poured reinforcements into the city. By mid-November, the Germans, at great cost, had pushed the Soviet defenders back into narrow zones along the west bank of the river. On the 19th of November, the Red Army launched Operation Uranus, a two-pronged attack targeting the weaker Romanian armies protecting the Sixth Army's flanks. The Axis flanks were overrun and the Sixth Army was cut off and surrounded in the Stalingrad area. Adolf Hitler was determined to hold the city at all costs and forbade the Sixth Army from attempting a breakout. Instead, attempts were made to supply it by air and to break the encirclement from the outside. Heavy fighting continued for another 2 months. At the beginning of February 1943, the German forces in Stalingrad, having exhausted their ammunition and food, finally capitulated, making it the first of Hitler's field armies to surrender during World War II, after 5 months, 1 week, and 3 days of fighting. Regardless of the strategic implications, there is little doubt about Stalingrad's symbolism. Germany's defeat shattered its reputation for invincibility and dealt a devastating blow to German morale. On the 30th of January 1943, the 10th anniversary of his coming to power, Hitler chose not to speak. Joseph Goebbels read the text of his speech for him on the radio. The speech contained an oblique reference to the battle, which suggested that Germany was now in a defensive war. The public mood was sullen, depressed, fearful, and war-weary. Germany was looking in the face of defeat. The news of the battle echoed around the world, with many people now believing that Hitler's defeat was inevitable. The Turkish consul in Moscow predicted that the lands which the Germans have destined for their living space will become their dying space. The country celebrated Red Army Day on the 23rd of February 1943. A ceremonial sword of Stalingrad was forged by King George VI. A ceremonial sword of Stalingrad was forged by King George VI. After being put on public display in Britain, this was presented to Stalin by Winston Churchill at the Tehran Conference later in 1943. Soviet propaganda spared no effort and wasted no time in capitalizing on the triumph, impressing a global audience. The prestige of Stalin, the Soviet Union, and the worldwide communist movement was immense, and their political position was greatly enhanced. The events of the battle for Stalingrad have been covered in numerous media works of British, American, German, and Russian origin, for its significance as a turning point in the Second World War, and for the loss of life associated with the battle.